Hey guys, Todd Polke here and welcome to this next episode of Ask Todd. Today is all around distractions, okay? That's what it is all around. And because this is a question that came from Richard. It was in response to a Facebook post that I made around some comments and some words of wisdom that I was writing down that I use for my own life to keep me reminded to always be playing my bigger game and being my highest self, right? So this is a response to you, Richard. Thanks for the question, buddy. Now, let me tell you something straight off the bat, guys. I am someone who gets very easily distracted. I'm one of those guys that if I was watching this video right now, someone else speaking, I'd be looking at this painting behind me, trying to figure out what on earth is on there and what is that really about. So if you're doing that, stop and just focus. And guys, I get it, I really do understand. And so I usually have a million things going on, and I tend to be quite chaotic. You know, that's just me and my nature. You know, I get distracted. Oh, look, a fly, and I'll run off. Yeah, sorry guys, I was coming back. It's all right. So I get distracted easily, and it's something that I've been having to learn how to manage in my life, because I got to the point of going, do you know what, if I really wanted to accomplish all the things that I wanted to accomplish in my life and be the quality of person and master the things that I wanted to master, I really had to learn to handle this thing called time and learn to handle this thing called distraction, because getting distracted is the easiest thing in the world. I mean, there are so many distractions lying around, you know. We've got social media left, right and center. We've got these, we've got these phones. Yeah, guys, only do one take, that's it, so I stuffed up. We've got these phones that go off pretty well every day of the week. I got another text message, you know, I could go and check that now. We've got there's so many distractions going around. And we've got to learn to go, okay, well, you know, where do I need to focus my time? Because I've got to tell you now that if you don't have a plan for your time is going to tend to be taken away with low priority activities and the distractions which tend to come up on a pretty well consistent, ongoing, daily basis. And so I've had to learn to become really, really good at this. And guys, yeah, I still stuff up. Yeah, I still get distracted. Yeah, you know, in my head, I've still got a million things going on at any point in time. And I've often done for many, many years. It's only in the last couple of years where I go, do you know what? I can't do everything, but I can do the most important things. And so I've had to learn to manage my time, manage my distractions, and learn to focus my time on my highest value activities where I add the most leverage to the purpose and the mission that I'm trying to create in the world. And so the question was really all about, well, how do I stop myself from getting distracted all the time? And how do I make sure that I stay on task on a consistent, ongoing basis? So I wanted to run you through a couple of my rituals, you know, some of the tools that I use. And nothing's complicated, guys. It's all pretty simple type of stuff. But like anything in life, you know, what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And so I know that any wealth or success, whatever you want to create in any area of your life, is all around habits. So that's really what I'm going to talk to you about now, is all around habits. Now, I could spend a long time talking about time and prioritization and how I plan out my life and plan out my schedule and plan out my week and plan out my day. I'm not going to go into that much detail now because frankly, it's like a full day event, right? It's pretty full on, but it's extremely effective at the same time. So I want to run you through some of the critical rituals that I use on a consistent basis, which stop me from, you know, just wandering off and trying to find the next cool thing to be able to do at the time, or to be responding to all the different distractions that we have going on in our life. Because as we know, there are a lot. And guys, those who are getting distracted by the painting, stop looking at it now. I'd be doing the same thing. So, one of the critical things, and everything, I always believe in building a foundation, right? So one of the critical things is always starting with a foundation. Now the foundation to me is all about understanding, well, what is my purpose? What is the vision? What am I trying to create and what am I going for? So when you're aligned with where you're going and your vision in your life, and even if it's not for your entire life, but for the next 12 months or something like that, then you can align all of your actions and your thought and your processes and what you do and your priorities based on your outcomes that you actually want to achieve. So I always start by going, okay, well, you've got to create a vision for your life. And I'm really, really big on this. I'm very big on it. So I always create an ultimate vision for my life. I then always work backwards. You know, I'm a strategist. So I start with what do I want, and then I chunk back and chunk back and chunk back until I get to where I am right now. And strategy is what really fills that gap between where you are right now and where you want to be going in the future. So I start by going, what do I ultimately want in my life, right? And I make a plan for it. Then I go, well, what are some critical milestones that I need to create over the next 2, 3, 5 years, right? And then I go, well, what is my 12-month compass? What am I going to do over this next 12 months that is going to move me significantly towards that ultimate life, right? Can you see, I'm chunking it back, I'm still creating, I've got that direction. And then I go, okay, 90-day plan. What am I going to do in the next 90 days, which is going to move me significantly towards that 1-year plan, right? I'm a big believer in that 90-day plan. It keeps me on track. And then I go, okay, month, what am I going to do for the month? And then I go week, and then I go day, okay? So that's how I chunk it all down. Now, a lot of you might be going, well, that sounds like a lot, Todd, I don't have time. And guys, don't kid yourself, you do have time. Now, so what I do, once every 6 months, I take a day out to go and reset the vision of my life, because it shifts a lot, because as I grow, my vision has to change with it. So you've got to take time out to do this. And don't tell me you don't have a day every 6 months to plan your life. Like we take more time to plan our holiday, right? Than we do our life or our relationship or anything like that. So don't give me excuses. I take a day out to go and do my vision for my life. You don't have to go as full on as me, maybe it's 3 hours, whatever it is for you. Every month I do a planning session. So for that month I do a planning session where I'll sit down for a Sunday afternoon and I'll plan out what's happening for the month, what commitments do I have to do, what are my critical things I'm focusing on. Every quarter I redo my 90-day plan, right? I redo my 90-day plan. So on a monthly basis, I sit down once a week, again on a Sunday evening. It takes me about 20 minutes, and then on a daily basis, it takes me about 10 to 15 odd minutes, where I'm planning out everything that I'm doing. And guys, I keep everything in one manual, right? So in here, maybe I'll do another video on this another time, but I've got some visuals of people that I really admire. I've then got, so some of my core philosophies around living and around what I believe success is all about, and playing the bigger game, and also importantly what I refuse to do for another moment. I've then got my 90-day burn, right? Because that's there in front of me literally every single moment, because it's kind of my compass. It's what keeps me aligned. I've then got a list of questions which I ask myself every single day, which are designed to go, hey, am I living my potential? If I was living my potential, what would I be doing? There's my weekly plan, which I do on a Sunday. And after that, I go into my 12-month compass and a whole lot of other stuff after that. Values and my ultimate life, and it's full, right? But I keep that with me everywhere, because that's what keeps me aligned. So if you see me traveling, if you see me on stage, if you see me at home in my office, this is my thing which stays beside me literally almost every single moment. Because it keeps me aligned to my ultimate vision. Like, where am I going? What am I doing? What's my 90-day plan? What am I focusing on right now? What are my highest priority activities, right? So, and I'm very clear on my highest priority activities. I'm very clear on who I am and what I'm great at and what I'm not so good at. And I always believe you want to focus on your strengths. Fixing your weaknesses is a flawed model, right? Because we've got to focus on who we are as an individual. I have a core belief that every single person has a genius, right? Maybe it's not what school thinks your genius is. According to school, I finished on the wrong side of, on average, that's where I finished. But according to school, I was not intelligent. But there's some things that I'm really good at, and there's some things that I'm not good at. So I don't focus my time on fixing my weaknesses or spending time on my weaknesses. I put systems in place and get other people to help me out, and virtual assistants and things like that, to make sure they don't hurt me. But I focus all my times on where my greatest source of leverage is. And you know what? If I'm not teaching, if I'm not driving a vision, if I'm not if I'm not speaking, teaching, driving a vision, creating content, if I'm not doing those type of things, then I'm not being my most effective that I possibly can be, because I know that's where my greatest source of leverage always is. And everything else, I just try and get it off my plate. So when I know there's 5 things that if I do those 5 things, they're going to create the biggest impact in my life, then those 5 things are the things that I focus on more than anything. And so I make sure that I don't get distracted on a consistent basis. Now, when it comes to a daily basis, okay, so coming down to the day level, this is my priority planner, which I designed, I put it together because it's something that works for me. It's knowing me and how I work, and I've got a lot of my students to use it now, right? So on the top up here, I've got, major goal. So what's my major goal for the day? That, if I just did this one thing today, then today would be a success, right? And I always put it down, and guess what? That's the first thing I start working on. The next is my theme. So I often will break down my days into themes. So sometimes it's going to be about looking after my team. Sometimes it's about, creating new stuff, because I'm a creative person. I like to create new stuff. Sometimes it's about designing new content. Sometimes it's going to be about, recording videos or creating new training programs, or refining all the workshops and things that I do for all my students. Whatever it is, I have a theme for the day often. Then I break it down into projects. And so like a project might be, okay, well, I'm about to run a boot camp for my students for 3 days. And so that is a project. A project, I call it boot camp. Really simple, straightforward. Okay, well, what do I need to do for that project? Okay, well, a couple of things that I know I need to get done today. I've got my completed one today upstairs, actually. A couple of things I need to go get done today is I'm refining some of the values section, helping people identify values. And I am also creating the 3-day run sheet and just making sure that the team that are coming in, accountants and financial, finance team, the deals people, like everyone knows what they're doing and when they're doing it. So that's some critical things I'm focusing on. Another project that I have going on right now is I'm redesigning my personal website. So that's another project, and I've got a couple of things that I've got to focus on doing there. When I need to add some more value, need to do some different things. Coaching a magazine approached me to write an article for them, so that's another project. So I write down my project, I split it down into small action steps, right, and prioritize those. Underneath I have my schedule, so if I have any appointments today, then I make sure I put those in, okay? So I have my appointments, I schedule them so I can see it. If I've got anyone I want to connect with today, or someone I need to follow up, or something I didn't get done yesterday, then that goes in there. And I keep that beside me at any point in time, right? And that's how I keep aligned to my day. So if I'm ever sitting there going, well, what am I doing now? Or I got distracted or whatever it is, I look at this and go, that's what I need to do, bang, and I get back on task. Okay, so that's another critical thing that I use on a consistent basis. So planning and scheduling, I'm an absolute fiend for, and the reason is I have to be, okay? Because if I'm not, I'll just get distracted and my head will go in a million different directions. Your phone is actually really another valuable tool. Now, I will often keep my phone away. I don't have it next to me, because as soon as it starts ringing, as soon as it starts ringing, or a text message or things like that, you know yourself, like you can't help but look at it. You just can't. It starts ringing, you sit there and go, you want to ignore it because you're focused on something, but you can't because it's just ringing. So my phone is off pretty well 100% of the time, right? I turn it on a few times a day. When I say off, it's sitting in a cupboard, it's on silent, because otherwise I'm going to get distracted. The same thing with your email. Turn off your bloody email. It's the biggest distraction known to mankind. Again, people have that Outlook and they have that bing and it pops up and the little envelope icon. You can't ignore it. Come on, you can't ignore it. It's just there. So you need to turn it off and have some set times throughout the day when you're going to check it. Because yeah, you got to, I understand. But it doesn't mean you've got to check it every single moment. A lot of people are checking their emails 50 to 60 times of the day. So I'll come back to the phone in a moment. But eliminating distractions, you've got to understand, know yourself. Where do you get distracted in life? Is it social media? Well, great. There are some browser blockers that you can set up where you can, I can't remember what it's called, where you can set it up where it will block your Facebook or YouTube or any other site that you are on for a set period of time. And so if you're focusing on one project and you're going to spend the next 90 minutes on this project, that's what I do. So when I schedule my day, it's 90-minute chunks. If you're going to spend this next 90 minutes on focused on this one project, then you want to know yourself and eliminate distractions. Because I heard this statistics once, and I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate, but for every distraction, whether it be someone asking us a question or an email or this or this or this, it takes us somewhere between, I think it was 10 to 18 minutes to get back into the same level of focus than before we got distracted. You know yourself, you check an email, then you get back to what you're doing and go, oh, where was I up to? And it takes you another chunk of time to get back into the same level of focus that you were in before you started. But when you're on task and you're doing something, you're just hammering it out and you're just going for hell for leather, you're focused and things just flow in life. That flow in life is really, really critical. So things like email, things like voicemail, social media, set times each day to check it. I suggest doing it at 11 o'clock and 4 o'clock because by the morning, everyone else that is addicted to their email, they would have sent all the emails to you by that point in time. So you set aside half an hour, whatever you need. you check it, respond to it, so you're in flow and that's all you're doing in that moment. Respond to your voicemail messages, you're giving people care, you're loving them and all that type of stuff, you're getting back to them. Then 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's another 4 to 5 hours of it all to fill up, and then you can check it and get it done, and you can handle everything for the night session, and then the next morning you start again, right? So same thing with social media, same thing with voicemail, just checking, make schedule times to do it, and then make sure you're staying focused for the rest of the time. So there's some browser blockers you can do for that, but just create new habits, guys. Whether that mean, okay, well, your first habit you're going to focus on is turning your email off and checking it 3 times a day, if that's what you need to do to start with. Then build it down to 2 times a day. Often for me, it's once a day, and that's usually when I check email. So my phone is another really valuable tool. Although I have it off a lot of the time, I also have alarms set on it. So the alarms will go off no matter whether it's on silent or not. And I ask myself questions. So questions are a really, really powerful thing to have in your life, right? The difference in the quality of your life is based on the different questions you ask, okay? And it's a really, really critical point. So that's why I have a list of my daily questions that I'm always asking. So some of my daily questions that I ask, okay, well, how will I challenge and grow myself today? What is the impact I will have today? If I were not scared today, what would I be doing differently? What am I grateful for? Those are some of the questions I ask myself each day. But on my phone, I set alarms. And those alarms go off usually every 90 minutes to 2 hours, right? So they're different times of the day based on my schedule. And they ask me questions. And it might be as simple as, what are you doing right now? And do you know what? When that pops up, I know what it's asking me. And it pisses me off sometimes, frankly, because I can't escape from myself. I got to go, crap, I really wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing then. Come on, okay, give yourself an uppercut, Todd, get back on task, right? Other times it might be asking you, okay, am I being busy or am I being productive? Because they're very two different things. So much in life, we get caught up in being busy instead of actually being effective in life. Other times, are you being your highest self? There's other things that I might ask myself. So I have a series of questions that pop up on an alarm, and you can set it on this. You can set alarms and you can call them different things, right? It doesn't have to be alarm, you can change it. You can call them different things, and they pop up at set times throughout the day just to make sure that I'm staying aligned with who I am. I call them anchors, right? So when you set up anchors in your life, you're in what anchors really are. It's setting up different things around your life and your environment to where you look at them, and when you see them and when you interact with them, they remind you to be a part of your higher self. That painting behind me, some of you know me or some of you don't, I have a very, very spiritual side to me attached to nature, right? And when I've got a few of these different paintings, they're from Peru, up around, and it reminds me to stay connected. It reminds me to get outside, go connect with the earth, connect with nature and that type of stuff. And so, I'm sorry, I'm looking over here because there's another one up on the wall which is interesting me at the moment, and getting distracted once again. But these things remind me to stay connected with a higher part of myself. On my desk, I have a sheet with questions. So, apart from my folder and apart from different things going on, I have a sheet with questions sitting on there. So, do you know what? I always look at them. Your dream or vision board is another thing, okay? Well, that's another thing I have sitting up around my place to stay connected to where I'm going, my vision and my higher self. So, I have these anchors. So, I can't escape myself, right? Wherever I look in my world, and I strategically set this up, wherever I look in my environment and my world, I've got a flip chart over there with other stuff on it, in my living room right now. Wherever I look in my world, I can't escape myself. There are things that are reminding me on a consistent basis to stay at my higher level and play my bigger game in life. And it's really, really critical part of my success. Your environment is really critical. So anyway, I've been talking for about 20 odd minutes or something like that, guys. I hope that has been useful. A lot of people I know have so many different priorities in life. We have so many different things going on right now, and it's so important that we stay aligned to our higher self and our highest vision and on things which make the most impact. Now, as I said, I'm a fiend for this stuff, guys. So if you want any more help with this, or if you want me to record another video around time or 90-day plan or scheduling or environment or ecosystem or anything like that, just hit me up on Facebook, guys, or email me. Email me at todd@toddpolke.com or whatever it is. Find a way to contact me and ask the question. I really want to help and add value to you guys, and this in areas I'm a big believer in, and I've had to become that because, as I said, I get distracted easily. So again, oh look, a fly. I'm off. See you guys.